already from the very beginning of the war, internet was strongly restricted. Actually, we had probably the worst kind of restriction in many years. I think it was only, we had a similar restriction in November 2019 when there were nationwide protests and many people were killed. Other than that, it has never been like this. So that has limited our access to information. But what we know is that citizens have been arrested basically because they were stopped in a checkpoint and they found pictures or videos of Israeli attacks on their phones. We have also received reports about political activists being arrested in their homes without any connection to the war. Despite being in a war situation and an emergency situation, it seems that the executions continued, even for charges which are not related. The incident at the Evin prison, where Israel attacked Evin prison, what we have, the reports that we have received is that many of the there were many people who were affected by this attack. Among them, there were people who were killed. Some of them were the staff of the Evin prison, the guards, and also some prisoners. We don't know anything about the names of the prisoners who were killed or the charges. Despite the war situation, they were transferred to another place, another prison, which is called the Big Tehran prison, and they have been kept there in wards with small capacity during the transport, and also before the transport, the guards used violence. They pointed their guns towards the prisoners to make them, move, and some of these transports lasted many hours because it was under the severe bombings. During this war, we have seen intensification of the repression against several minorities, both the ethnic minorities, also Jewish members of the Iranian Jewish community, and also Afghans, Afghan citizens. There have been wide arrests of Afghan citizens and that, they have been sent outside Iran. In the Iranian media, they have been paving the way for more repression of Kurds and also Baluchis because, they have been saying that many of these Israeli equipments have been smuggled into the country by coal bars. And we already know that, these coal bars, they have been shot at every year. Several hundred of them are being killed or injured. We have also received the arrest of many Kurdish people. So again, what Iranian authorities are doing is intensify repression because they want to prevent new protests. I think it's very important to keep in mind that the biggest threat to the Islamic Republic, to the Iranian authorities, it's not the Israeli spies. It's Iranian citizens who are who want a change, and we have seen that the opposition towards the authorities is much bigger and more organized in Kurdish areas, in Baluchistan, among ethnic minorities. So the aim of this repression is to prevent new protests because, people are dealing with the regime, have been dealing with the regime that is repressive, is incompetent to solve people's daily problems, and it is highly corrupt. But now, in addition, after this war, they have also demonstrated their incompetence in even protecting the country. They have been spending billions on missiles, on a nuclear program, and they demonstrated their incompetence also there. So the Islamic Republic is at its weakest point, and if new protests break out, it's not, it's impossible to know whether they will manage to control it. So that's why they are trying to prevent it by intensifying the repression. This is a law actually which is aimed to make make issuing the death penalty easier for the courts, because normally they force people to confess that they have had direct communication with Israelis. They have, but now according to this war, the definition can be expanded so that even activities on social media or citizen journalism can be defined as what they call corruption on earth, and they can issue death penalty for that. When it comes to Baha'is, Baha'is have always been repressed, but we have received reports of increased arrests, and also the Iran and the Islamic Republic media has also, started new round of propaganda saying that this is not a religion, these are all spies. One of the instruments we have as human rights organizations to put pressure on the Islamic Republic is to create awareness about what is happening. Because unfortunately, the international community doesn't put human rights situation on its agenda. At least it doesn't have high priority. But once we manage to document and demonstrate how human rights violations are going on, then the international community has to react. The focus of the international community, especially countries with diplomatic relations with the Islamic Republic, must be human rights, must be situation of the prisoners, the death penalty, these arbitrary arrests. And it helps, eventually it's the people inside the country that need to change, to bring about the change. So we are not expecting a foreign country to come and bring the change for us. But what international community can do is to raise the political cost of the repression by having it on the agenda.